today we're going to be making a potato masala dosa. I think that's what you call it. I actually already made my dosa batter, which I'll show you. If you don't know what dosa is, can you see this? It's a very fermented and foamy batter that I'm gonna make like a crepe-like thing out of. It's made from lentils and rice. I used brown rice this time. The type of lentil I used is urad dal, U-R-A-D, and I've used other types of lentils before, but this is the traditional kind and it's definitely the best texture. I also sprinkle a little fenugreek in there. So what I do is I soak both the the lentils and the rice separately for 6 to 8 hours overnight. And then I dump and rinse those separately and blend them in a blender with a little water separately, and then I combine them. Stir them together, put them in the oven with the light on, usually overnight, but I guess 8 to 12 hours. It will start to get bubbly and a little foamy on top, and you usually get like a scent, like a sourdough, you know, fermented scent. So I had already made those before I decided to film this. What I'm gonna do with this is with a non-stick pan, make a very, very thin crepe and cook that until it's crispy. Mostly cook it on one side, a little bit on the second side, and then I'm gonna put this amazing and delicious potato masala mixture that I'm about to make now with you guys and put it inside. It is so delicious. It's sincerely one of my favorite things to eat in the world. I think I could eat it every day for the rest of my life. So let's get started. Okay, so let's try it like this. I'm gonna start with half an onion. I have a little bit of about 2 teaspoons of coconut oil already in the pan. And I'm gonna use just a half of this onion, sorry. I always like to have a little garbage bowl nearby. It just makes life a little easier. Okay, I don't remember. I think the first time I ever had dosa, I actually made it myself. I had not had anything authentic. I was gluten-free at the time, and I just saw it in some, you know, Indian cookbook, and I thought I really wanted to try it. So, I mean, it was always yummy, but then finally I had it at an authentic, I think it's South Indian restaurant, and you know, I got some pointers of how to do it even better. Oh, it's just so satisfying to me. And yes, it is gluten-free, and I'm not 100% gluten-free now, but I definitely do best when I have less gluten in my diet. So here's just a half onion that we're gonna get going over here. I'm also gonna do, I don't know, less than a tablespoon of ginger. I'm gonna slice up. Some people leave the skin on. Depends on how complicated it is for me. If it's easy enough to take it off, I take it off. But sometimes, you know, you get a very knobby piece of ginger, and if it's not worth the trouble, sometimes I'll just finely dice my ginger and leave the skin on. I think it's been about 15 to 20, 15, I don't know, let's think about this. Maybe since like 2007, 2008 that I started really getting more creative in the kitchen and learning recipes from other cultures and trying to learn about nutrition at the same time. It's been quite a balancing act for me over the years, you know, to learn so many conflicting things about diet And you know, I had an eating disorder when I was in high school. So sometimes I just really just do, most of the time, intuitive eating. Okay. So let's see. This is a fairly easy recipe. Oh, and what I failed to mention was I've already steamed some red potatoes. I'm not sure if I'll use all of these, but I just use my pressure cooker, my Instapot, and for 15 minutes with a little water, steam my potatoes. So I have this on a medium-high heat. Let's see. All right. Now as this starts to cook, I'm going to show you what I have here. Okay. This is the onion seed, this black seeds here, larger than poppy seeds. Cumin seed, whole cumin, and dried red pepper, which the recipe that I've been using calls for more, but I really don't need it that spicy, and my husband definitely doesn't like it too spicy. So I'm going to throw all this in here and get these aromatics flowing with the heat. And so we're just going to cook this down until the onion starts to get a little translucent. This recipe, you know, calls for some ingredients that you probably don't typically have in the house unless you're Indian. You might have some, but hopefully you have a market nearby, somewhere in your vicinity. I go to, what is it, the Krishna market. I love it, it's so much fun. The other unusual ingredient that I'm going to use, these are curry leaves. I did buy them fresh, but the owner of the store told me if I just leave them out on the counter, let them dry, because I said I was going to freeze them. He said no, just leave them out on the counter and they'll dry and you can use them. So it's about 20 leaves or so that I'm going to throw in here. And also the recipe also that I've been using usually calls for cashews, and I don't have any in the house. So I'm just gonna put some sunflower seeds in because it's just nice to have that texture in with the potatoes. So it adds something. So I'm just gonna, this is still, like I said, just at a medium-high heat. There's really not much more to do. As this is cooking a little, I'm gonna start dicing the potatoes, as I told you are already cooked. Pretty simple. I'm gonna cut them in half. And they're pretty soft, so I'm actually, once they're cooking, I'm going to even like smush them down even more. I'm gonna not put them all in yet. I should just. It can be a really rough chop. I'm starting to smell the onion cooking. I could maybe lower the temperature a little. I like to keep it low fat, so if it starts to seem like it's sticking, I'll add a little water. Oh, it smells so good. Yeah, 15 minutes in the Instapot is great. If you're just using a regular stovetop, I don't know, it depends on how you're gonna prepare them. I think if you're just going to submerge them and boil them, probably similar. Once it starts boiling, about 15 minutes, until they're fork tender. So, you know, you stick a fork in them and they're soft, and that's good. I think I'll do one more. This stuff has never gone to waste. Even if I run out of dosa batter, I love just eating this potatoes. Just eat it straight up. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of water, couple tablespoons. And my last ingredient, I have the turmeric powder, less than a teaspoon. And this is something I've added. This is called amchur powder, which is a dried mango. And it's like a tart flavor that to me is just so special. And I've been adding it to my potato masala. And really, we're gonna do salt and pepper. And this is kind of it. I'm just gonna smash these potatoes down a little. The water helps to soften it. And I'm gonna do salt and pepper to taste. Maybe it's gonna be less than a teaspoon. Black pepper. Black pepper. I really like pungent flavors. So sometimes I add some black salt, which is like, it's kind of like a sulfurish, like, almost like smells like and tastes like eggs a little. I don't know, I just love pungent flavors. But it's salt. So, you know, it will add that salty flavor as well as little pungent, eggy flavor. So I'm just gonna let this cook down and let all the flavors combine for a few minutes. If I had fresh cilantro, I'm not sure if I do, I might sprinkle that on top. Little mint if you had it, parsley, whatever you have if you like that fresh herb component. And so what I'm gonna do now is make my dosa, and then we'll see the final product. We'll let this cook for a little bit. I think I'm gonna add a little more water. While that cooks, okay. Now this is a non-stick griddle, which you see is getting a little bit of a burn mark. Excuse me. It's just where I think where the heating element, ooh, let's see. Over here, okay. All right, so I'm gonna put this on about 375, 350. Let this warm up, it usually warms up pretty quickly. I'm gonna put a little coconut oil on it. Just a teaspoon-ish. And then I'm going to wipe this so I could spread the coconut oil all around. And then in between each crepe, I'll do it again. Excuse the noise. Okay. So I'm just gonna do a ladle full of this batter. You can see it's bubbly. It's been fermenting since about 11 p.m. last night. Let's see, let's get a little more up close here. All right. So I'm gonna do kind of like 1.5 ladles full, and then I'm gonna use the back of the ladle to spread it out pretty thin. See, it's getting nice and mushy. I may have put a little too much water, but it's going to take me a few minutes to do the crepes, do the dosa. So I think this will be perfect by then. Alright, gonna lower the heat there. And get back to this. So I usually just try to watch for the steam to diminish. The steam is just all the moisture coming off of the batter, and I start to see where it's browning beneath. Yeah, I really highly suggest you guys try this. I'm using vegan Risha's recipe, and I will put a link to that in the description. And actually, I think it was from her book. She has a vegan Indian. So you see? I mean, this is extra brown mark. It's really just from the heating element from this griddle. I just don't have a great nonstick pan to do it on my stove top, so this has become the best place for me to cook it. It's mostly cooked. I just want the other side to get a little more crispy. And then I'm gonna flip it back over for a moment before I finish. It's just amazing. Okay. So we'll just give it another minute, and then we're gonna put the potato mixture in it and fold over the sides. Okay, so let's see, let's do this. So I'm gonna smush it down a little. Try to get it to the ends. That's how I do it. And then I'm just gonna gently fold over each side. And there you go. Potato, what is this? Potato masala dosa. Okay, so this might be my best one yet. They're looking good.